so dedicated to our church community.
How's your mom holding up?
Poor dear, she'll be lost without him.
I doubt Mom will have any idea what to do.
It happened so suddenly, he never had his affairs in order.
It's not like Dad ever let anyone else touch money.
It's times like these when we can really feel the Lord's eyes upon us.
Jesus, your dad didn't even set her up a bank account.
He's such an upright and respected man.
Mom's never been one to make a fuss. She just goes along.
I'm sure Pastor Matthew will take good care of her.
It's so hard all on her own.
I worry.
I worry.
I worry.
How are you holding house, Mom?
Oh, I'm fine, Charity. Is there enough to eat, though?
Yes, they're fine. Everyone's fine. Have you had anything to eat?
Oh, no, don't worry about me.
I think that's my job now.
Hey, Granite, how you holding up?
Oh, I'm fine, thank you.
Chuck, would you please tell my mother to go and eat a sandwich?
I think Sophie might have gotten all the good ones.
Oh, that's my little rascal.
Pastor Matthew wanted to speak with you.
Oh, of course he did. Mom, don't let that snake talk you out of any of Dad's money.
Oh, I know you two have never gotten along, but that's a little harsh, don't you think?
Just you wait. He's gonna pull that sympathy from the bereaved widow crowd, and he's gonna try to guilt you into it.
But Charity, Mom, now, please don't make a scene.
I grabbed this for you. Here's a support group for widows. Ready for your own church?
What?
She needs support from her peers. It's not like she's got much else to do.
Chuck, please go and track down our errand daughter.
I checked by the cupcakes, if I were you.
Listen, Mom, I think you should start coming over for dinner on Fridays. It would be good to get you out of the house, plus Sophie could see you more.
Thank you, sweetie. I would like that.
And also, I'll start driving you to your church activities.
Oh, you don't have to do that. Like, I'm trying to get
No. I really don't mind. Just please go get something to eat.
Okay, thank you, sweetie. I was just saying right now.
Lena, I barely got to talk to you all day. How are you holding up? It cannot be bared what you are going through. Jim was such a pillar of our church community.
Such a decent and pious man.
I cannot imagine how you've managed.
Well, thank you very much, Karen and Carol and Carla. It's very thoughtful of you to say. But thank you very much for coming.
But you must come to the support group I run on Thursdays. It's good for the soul.
I brought a pen for you.
Oh, here, take two. Yes, do come. Jim would hate to see you feeling so lost.
Thank you. Does your husband help at all with the group for widows?
Oh, heavens, no. Can you imagine him lifting a finger for something like that? But I'm not going to complain. He's still a very fine man. Which is why I run a support group for ladies who are no longer as fortunate. It's crucial now more than ever that you stay involved with church activities.
Jim would have hated to see you all up on your own.
Plus, we missed you at our last cooking session.
Well, go eat something.
And I hope you can make it to the bake sale this Friday.
Well, I have so many things that I have to do here.
Oh, I'm sure someone can take care of all of that for you.
Pastor Matthew can help.
Carla made Simon's executor.
Yes, why we don't need to worry our heads about that kind of thing.
Far too much bother.
And would you rather be at a bake sale?
It's only one afternoon after all.
And who can be sad at a bake sale?
Well, I'll try to no longer be occupied by then.
Oatmeal raisin was Jim's favorite. You should bring those. We'll see you on Friday.
And don't forget the church days are made on Sunday.
Right after Sunday services, of course.
And the support group on Thursdays, remember?
I have the pamphlet. Now, excuse me.
Greta, my dear. Oh, sir. I'm so glad you found it quiet. I know just how exhausting these things are for the bereaved. So much to do and take care of. So I thought I would take a moment to ask you how you're holding up, in case no one else is.
Oh, well, thank you very much, Pastor Matthews. It has been a lot.
I'm sure. Jim was such a wonderful man. Such a treasured member of our congregation. Really more of a friend.
Thank you, Pastor. You know, I'm sure Jim would appreciate you saying all of that. Well, if you would just excuse me.
And how are you handling the sudden burden of handling all Jim's affairs?
Well, I've had to think about a lot of things I've never thought about before.
Yes, I think it's rather too much for a woman of your age to have to deal with. Isn't that right?
Did you see where Sophie went?
I understand that Jim never prepared a proper will.
Oh, but no, that's fine. I hear everything automatically defaults to me, so just fine.
I don't suppose Jim had mentioned how he planned on portioning out his estate.
Oh, nothing he said to me.
Oh, look, I'm getting Pastor Matthew to be Jim's executor.
Could you go help my daughter find Sophie?
Okay.
Well, I think it would be a good idea to do some soul searching. Really dig in and think of what Jim would have wanted. And whether all the blessings you have received for yourself are best kept to yourself. You might want to consider generously giving to charity.
Oh, no. Charity never wanted anything from her father. She always said, with strings of the guilt trip kind.
No, I meant,
I should speak to her about it.
no, I meant, well, I'm sure the Lord's guidance will see you straight. I'm certain you will agree that he has never sent you astray. That the church has always been an important part of your family. Most of your family.
Well, thank you. You give me a lot to think about, but I've got a lot on my mind.
Then let me be the first to invite you to this support group that we have in exactly your decision. I'm sure that being part of such a wonderfully close-knit community will help you remember what's truly most important.
Thank you, Pastor Matthew. Why don't you give it a try?
Please do. And if you need any help in carrying out your responsibilities, please don't hesitate to call me. I'm sure you'll decide to do what's right and think of what Jim would have wanted.
Excuse me.
What? What do you want? You want to know how I'm holding up? I'm holding up just fine. I'm holding everything up just fine all by myself. Is that what you wanted to know? Was it?
Greta, you remember my nephew, Kevin? He came home from school a few months ago.
I didn't know if you'd eaten. I just wanted to know if you looked like this man.
He's such a considerate boy.
Yes. Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Oh, no, that's okay. You keep going. Pick up Sophie. Thanks for the lift, sweetie.
Have fun in support group or whatever you're supposed to have, I guess. Bye.
Oh, excuse me. Are you all right back there?
Just fine, thank you.
If you need a meal or somewhere to rest, I could go on and ask inside.
No, I'll just stay out here, minding my own business.
Well, you don't have to be rude about it.
But if you're not going inside, I suggest that you move along. Folks get a little testy when people loiter in the church grounds.
I'm not on church grounds. Everything from that trash can this way is technically property of Swanson's Furnishings.
Oh.
Are you all right?
But Swanson's hasn't been here for 20 years.
They rented out the building.
Oh, to whom? It's still work on that side.
It's just a little local business. Don't worry about it.
Oh, a little local business. I just love local businesses. What does yours do?
Forget it.
Oh, but you told me that outside. It's just an unmarked door. How are you supposed to sally forth the customers an unmarked door in an alleyway?
I doubt that door even works. It probably hasn't been used in years.
Oh, hello, Kevin. I remembered your name this time. Did I say something wrong?
Just go.
Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies, and thank you very much for inviting me to your group. It's been nearly a month now since my husband's passed. I'm sorry that it took me so long to come. It's just that I've been struggling to discover who I am again. 45 years as somebody else's wife, it's hard to remember you or everything else. Went to the grocery store the other day, and I automatically reached for the cornflakes. I never really liked them, but they were part of Jim's regular routine. And suddenly I thought, I didn't know what I wanted to eat instead. I hadn't really thought about it. Hadn't actually thought about a lot of things, to be perfectly honest. I guess I always assumed there would be more time. Time to say the things that needed to be said. I guess that's our way. To waste the time we're given while we have it. Now there's just this void.
I know exactly what you're going through.
Oh, you do?
Of course. We're all reeling from the sting of losing Jim.
Oh, that loss is a bit more impactful for some of us than others.
True. People outside of the church community couldn't possibly understand the shock we're all going through. Chief of the fundraising committee for 30 years, he was truly part of all of our families.
We never would have gotten the new ropes without him.
Or the sound system, all those options.
And he was such a force on the school outreach council. So many lost lambs brought into the fold.
So the question is, what can you really do to preserve his legacy?
His legacy.
Well, I had a plaque made for Simon. We put it on his favorite pew.
A plaque.
Mrs. Rogers, she paid to have one of the organ pipes dedicated to her Malcolm. A flat, I believe she said it was.
What?
G sharp might be available.
Famous and a candle once. Ladies, this is Jim we're talking about. A man who embodied moral authority and fiscal responsibility. You're thinking too small. Brenda, you must set up a scholarship for well-deserving students who have shown unwavering dedication to moral conduct.
Oh. Well, thank you very much, ladies. You've given me a lot to think about. But I was wondering how those of you who are widows have managed the transition.
Whatever do you mean?
Oh, well, I was a wife for 45 years and now I'm not. There's only so many times you can reclean the house, and there's not much satisfaction in cooking dinner that nobody eats.
Oh, I learned some new recipes for cooking for one.
Okay.
And I found a mall walker's group. I joined a book club. I joined TikTok. Well, I never understood a thing thing my grandchildren were talking about, and I wanted to learn.
Well, I hardly think it's appropriate for children of that age to be exposed to the kinds of smut that sounds
I
like
go through our photo album every night. It's old and worn, but it helps me remember my Amos. But it's not right. Amos had such a roguish smile, but he never knew what to do with pictures. When the good Lord takes me, that's the first thing I want to see in heaven.
You're an inspiration, dear. So wise.
Thank you, Miss Morris. Can you tell me, how long has your husband passed? 21 years. Would you like to see our album?
No, Mrs. Morris, we don't have time to go through it again today. Brenda, I think you're getting distracted with minor frivolities.
Oh, no, actually this has been very helpful. It's good to talk things out with people.
It kinda is.
My grocer doesn't want to hear about how I almost had the power cut because I didn't even know there was a bill.
But he's got his own problems.
I can't tell my doctor that I took a hammer to the lockbox in the office because I didn't know the code.
You probably just say you're going senile. I had to get a locksmith to get into my own shed.
But you know what? I really don't miss the story.
Or the burning.
And I know it's barely qualified, but I really do miss the sex. Oh, we're not talking electric anymore?
Brenda Evelyn Jacobs, how in heaven's name could you say something so filthy?
I thought we were just having an open, frank conversation about women's issues.
Oh, well, I think I've been more than generous so far with keeping my mouth shut, but this is intolerable. Bad enough that a great man has perished, and you only want to talk about how it affects you. And now you must bring up smut.
Well, we're talking about what happens between a husband and a wife. Karen, you do know where babies come from.
Humor. The last defense when there's no moral principle to stand behind.
Well, sure.
Amos liked to do it in the bar. I didn't really mind as long as he used a little cooking oil.
Oh, forgive us.
I don't see anything the least bit funny. Shame on you all.
Oh, Karen, you always had such a stick on your butt.
Mrs. Morris.
Well, I guess we can see where your troublesome child gets her proclivities.
Now, okay, let's be careful about what eyes we cross.
And Carol, I can't believe you would be so cavalier about such behavior after what your husband put you through.
Karen, that was supposed to stay a secret.
Oh, I thought we were having an open and frank conversation with no civilized notion of privacy.
Karen, you don't have to say it. No, let's get it all out.
You can all have a great giggle. Carol's husband died in the arms of some hermit, struck dead by a heart attack, and the Lord's own justice.
Oh, my heavens, Carol, I'm so sorry.
Remind me, Carol, was it just the once?
No, it was a habit.
Oh, that's right. Now I remember. You'd skulk off to that whorehouse when you'd go quilt for the needy.
I'm just reading the card inside.
Outrage. Into the alley he'd sneak.
Oh, you mean that door in the alley leads to a cat house?
Oh, so you know the place. Oh, naturally.
Oh, there was this guy there, and I just asked if he needed any assistance or help, and he said,
There's no need to extol your virtues. We're all good Christians.
There's a brothel in the church.
No, Mrs. Morris. It's in the alley, dear.
Well, Greta, now that you've gone and completely derailed our meeting,
Well, I just thought it was important to talk about some real problems.
We don't usually get so upset. Karen has guided us to do our best.
Mrs. Morris?
Amos always did love his garden.
maybe from now on we can keep up a modicum of respectability.
I was just trying to be honest.
Oh, us that work so well with your atheist daughter?
My daughter is a strong woman with a good husband and a fabulous daughter, all of her own.
Oh, come now, Greta. You yourself have said that she can't control her impulses, so let's not use her as a role model.
No, Carol.
Good. Now, we all know in our heart what is right and what is expected of us all. So let's just put all of this unpleasantness behind us and get to the topic at hand. Preserving Jim's legacy. Now, doesn't that just sound nice?
I'm sorry. I forgot. I have an appointment.
Poor soul. The shock of losing Jim is just starting to hit her.
Excuse me, are you all right?
Yes, I'm fine. So, how does this work?
How does what work?
Well, I'm here. You're there. What's next?
What are you looking for?
I'm looking to get laid.
Go find a bar or a care home.
Oh, you just think I'm some decrepit old lady. Yeah, well, fair enough. But I've still got plenty of pop and sizzle in me yet.
What do you want me to do about it?
I want you to let me in that door you're parked in front of.
It's just an old service store.
Well, I'm here to get service. So it's
Lady, I'm gonna need to ask you to move along now.
Is that a threat?
It's a forecast. Now please leave, or I'm gonna have to do my job, and I don't relish the thought of doing that to some daft old lady. All your grandkids or your husband.
My husband's dead.
Is that a threat?
No, he died peacefully.
Oh, sorry for your loss. See that church of yours is always putting up flyers for this or that support group? I think I saw one for widows.
Yes, Thursday at 4:30. My husband, God rest his soul, was a deeply conservative man. And when he died, God rest his soul, they were the first to reach out to me with a collection plate. Yeah. And just the cure for a poor, sad widow, other poor, sad widows to stay poor and sad with. Empty shells, praying to be reunited. One gave a tearful speech about how hard the last 20 years had been. 20 years and she hadn't taken a single step forward. No, not me. That bastard, God rest his soul, not get to define the rest of my life for me. So I left. And now I'm here.
What do you expect to find here?
A brothel. Karen of the Church Ladies Brigade is always going on about the dating I'm sitting in her own backyard.
Oh, well, you can tell her we're not hiring.
Young man. But now that we're not pretending, how are you blocking the whole alleyway?
Well, it's my job too.
To keep out customers?
To keep out trouble.
Oh, I must be so scary, little old lady out of me. What do you think I'm gonna do? Scare away your customers? Boom!
Lady, this is a private club and we don't give tours to grandmothers going through a three-quarter life crisis.
Look, my husband was a decent man in his own way, guilty about the whole mess? You know the type.
Surely I don't.
He was set in his ways, and entirely certain that anybody who didn't think and act like he did was lazy or weak or both. I've spent my whole life living up to his expectations, colouring within the lines that he set for me. The meek wife, bowing to her husband, doing what's expected, staying respectable. Just another one of the old church ladies, a bunch of self-righteous old biddies, without half a personality between them. Oh, and endless judgments. I don't want to do that anymore. I think it's time for me to embrace the sweet freedom of not giving a crap about what people like Ben think about me.
And your dead husband?
I gave nearly 50 years of my life. I don't owe him the time I have left.
Well, look, I get sort of curious and determined to prove that you can be impulsive, but this isn't a place for you. Just ask the last geriatric you lived in. Do you even know what you're looking for?
No. Do you have a menu?
No!
Well, that just seems like bad service. Look, just set me up with a man. I'll figure the rest out from there. You do keep a man in there. That is not the last bastion of the male patriarchy.
We may be discreet, but we cater to all tastes.
So, you do keep a man back there.
Two, in fact.
I don't know if I can manage to. How would that even work?
Oh, no, it doesn't matter. Just Google it.
Well, I'm not very good with the internet. You can explain things to me. I know my granddaughter's Barbie dolls, and you could. They don't have curtains, do they?
Is there somewhere else you can go play at being a rebellious teenager?
I suppose I could do the drugs. I don't think I know any of the modern names. Do people still do acid?
If I tell you where you can go buy the drugs, will you leave me alone?
No, I'll just Google that. And then I'll come back with my copious free time, and I'll rouse up the church ladies. Oh, and I'll have them bring over their signs, and they will do chanting, and we'll make up slogans with glitter.
Well, then you'll never get it.
So, if I don't rouse up the morale of the police, I will get it.
There's no browsing. If you're here, you're here to buy, understood?
Oh, honey, I'm going to get my nether regions worked out until I learn the full limit of my credit card. Oh, good. You do take credit cards, don't you?
Do not make me regret this.
Oh,
I will throw your old ass out.
oh, you're dumb. Sweet chicks. Are we talking Costco size wieners here? Hello.
Mom?
Oh, hi, sweetie.
Are you okay? You sound kind of off.
Oh, I'm fine, thank you.
Okay, good. I was worried when you texted. How did you manage to...
Oh, I found my own ride.
That's fine. Next time, just let me know when you want to stay late, and I can drive you home after.
Oh, no, sweetie. I know you think you're doing right start doing a little more for myself. I'll find my own way back and forth to church from here. I mean, it's just a short cab ride.
Mom, you cannot be getting into strange cars with wads of cash. I mean, you don't know what they're gonna do. I mean,
I've figured out the credit card.
the bank let you use Dad's card?
I have my credit card.
Oh. So what did you learn in support group today?
How it's expected of a widow.
They didn't convince you to sell Mary Kay again, did they?
No, that was once 7 years ago.
Yeah, but it was only Dad putting his foot down that stopped you.
Score one for your father's controlling ways.
So glad for that. But, I am glad that you have people around you can relate to, people with similar values.
Yes, the fourth wheel of Karen's little trio. Oh God, that's so impressive.
Mom, you've always just been one of the church ladies.
I suppose so. How is our little Sophie?
A 6-year-old, so she's exhausting.
Oh, that's so invigorating.
Yeah, I suppose so.
You were so much like that at her age. You were just so amazingly assertive. I was always so proud.
Dad said I was a holy terror.
That child needs Jesus like a sandwich needs mayo. But I marveled at how you could spin circles around him.
I never knew you thought that.
Well, I never liked to argue with your father.
No. When I told Dad I wasn't going back to church, you didn't say anything.
Well, I thought you were old enough to make your own decisions. But, I never wanted to make a fuss. I'm sorry, Charity.
It's fine, Mom. It was years ago. I mean, I know you're not one to make a fuss. I assume Dad mostly got over it?
Mostly. But when he said grace when you were over to dinner, I was rather pointed.
Oh, you noticed.
Yes, I did. But I never said anything about that either. I'm sorry I wasn't, more there for you, Charity.
It's fine, Mom. Although, I was glad it was you and not Dad who caught me that one time, snuggling with a boy. I'm pretty sure he would have commissioned a chastity belt, but you pretended you hadn't seen him.
Well, I know your father would never have approved of me saying this, but I never really believed that a loving God would be upset with two teenagers doing what he seemed to have designed them to do.
Fuck them all. That's nearly blasphemous.
Oh, Jacobs, I still don't like that kind of language.
There's the church lady. Chuck,
Darling?
you haven't minded Mom coming over for dinner on Friday nights, have you?
Your dad just died. Of course I don't mind.
Okay, good. When she was over last time, did she seem off to you?
Off how?
Off like her entire manner has changed?
Your dad just died.
I know, but it's like she seems good. It's almost like she's happy.
You're worried that your mom is happy?
I'm worried that she's keeping it all pent up inside. That kind of stress is not good for anyone, but especially at her age.
You think she's faking it?
I don't know. It's scary because it's so weird.
Well, if you're so worried, we could install a nanny tracker on her phone.
That sounds really invasive.
You can't honestly think that she would have done the same thing if that thing existed in the 90s.
Well, Dad totally would have, but I don't think Mom.
She would have stopped it?
Okay, probably not.
Look, it's for her own good. She's overwhelmed and naive. Plus, you don't want some strange man charming cash on her.
I'm not uncomfortable using a phone like some people of the younger generation, but it's been a while now, so don't you think I should have a standing appointment?
Fine, I'll add it to the schedule.
Pastor Matthew, again? I seem to keep missing you somehow. I almost think you're avoiding me. Give me a call. I'd dearly love to know how you're holding up and whether there's any comfort I can offer. Oh, I almost forgot. I don't think we finished our conversation about your intentions regarding Jim's estate. It seems to me you might want to see his blessings shared out through the community. After all, he did name your daughter Charity. Of course, I wouldn't want you to think of me as some big, hulking man shaking you down for money in a dark alleyway. However, I feel it is my responsibility to make sure that the final wishes of any member of my flock, and especially such a dear friend as Jim, are honored. And remember, it really is Jim's money. I suggest you pray for guidance and really think about what he would have wanted. Anyway, call me. This is your Pastor Matthew.
You know, not that we mind the business, but you're really running up a tab here. I mean, isn't there something else you'd rather spend your money on? Like, I don't know, normal retired people stuff? Like, you could go on a cruise or go bird watching.
You know, I'm perfectly happy spending my family's estate here at your establishment. Besides, between Matthias and Roger, this really is the best place to look at birds.
I offered our good china to my daughter. We haven't used it since Amos passed, and I thought it would be nice to keep it in the family. But she said she didn't want a bunch of brittle old dishes. It seems like no one has any use for such antiques anymore.
Simply shocking. Such a shame.
Yes, indeed. But speaking of shocking, did you hear what happened on Tuesday? Pastor Matthew was putting up flyers by that horrid alley and saw one of our congregation coming out of that smut house.
No, it wouldn't be.
Yeah, and you'll never guess who it was.
Who?
Kevin.
No.
And he's only 23, a mere child. Scandalous. Such a good boy. Pastor Matthew and I are in total agreement. Enough is enough. Next Thursday, we are going to step outside of these holy doors and march into that alley and let them know just what we think. And we shan't leave until they do.
Shame them out. Smite them with glitter.
At least they'll have support group. Yes, Mrs. Morris, you'll still get to tell us all about your husband. Again. But after the meeting, we will gather up our signs and bring down our righteous fury.
Good afternoon, Marty. Has that exercise I've given you helped with your back at all?
Yeah, I threw a John up the week past and hardly a twinge.
Oh, that is wonderful. I really have to do my stretching before my 4:45 in the face.
You know, how do you keep those church busybodies from noticing you coming over here all the time?
Well, I come join the sad widows group. I just tell them I have this immovable physiotherapy appointment.
They believe that.
Well, I just thought of the most boring thing, and I don't really like lying, but I would just read rather that they didn't ask any questions.
See, an honest woman would just tell them that she comes here to fuck.
Mercy! I still don't like that sort of language.
Right? Yeah. You know, you really threw Matthias off the first time he saw you. He prides himself on his dirty talk.
Oh, yes, and I nearly slapped him. But then he told me how much extra that costs. Well, since then we've worked out our rules and our boundaries.
I don't want to know.
And he really shouldn't talk with his mouth full.
Boundaries!
My friend, these are not
My granddaughter has been selling them as a fundraiser. Oh, that child really has got my number. I think I went rather overboard. I hope you... Oh, Kevin! Wait, Kevin. They're cookies. They're just cookies.
Thanks, Miss Jacobs, but I don't need artificial sugar.
Oh, well, give it to your aunt. She could really use a little joy in her life.
Greta, I have warned you about mothering the clients.
Well, if it's really not allowed.
I didn't say anything about me. Just go.
Excuse me, do you mean the trash can right here?
Yes.
A house of sin is a house of love. A house of sin is a house of love. You keep the Lord's name out of your filthy mouth.
Yeah. Sinner.
You are evil.
Yeah.
And every last member of our congregation knows it, and we shall all do what we must to starve your wicked business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Out of our neighborhood.
Yeah.
Out of here.
Sinners.
What in the Lord's name are you doing coming out of there?
Come away, child. You don't know what you've gotten into.
Well,
We demand an explanation.
It's kind of a crafty sin, though.
I saw this guy in the alleyway, and I thought he needed some help. So I asked him if he was good, and he said he was fine, and so then we...
So then I hired her. We get a lot of people who feel lost around here, so I hired her to sort of mother them.
What? Like some sort of missionary position?
Yes, sometimes, yes.
Why didn't you tell us, Greta?
That's so community-minded.
Interesting interpretation of what Jim would have wanted. But I'm nothing if not open-minded. Is this true?
No, it's not. I come here to purchase services.
So this is how you've been spending your husband's hard-earned wealth, earned over a lifetime of honest work?
Yet, Greta, how could you?
I don't think I owe an explanation to people who don't see me as having a value all of my own. My husband is dead, but I'm still living. And if I feel like spending my family's inheritance and my twilight years being serviced by some magnificently well-endowed man, that is between me and my God.
Mom?
Oh my God.
Brenda, what are you doing back here?
Fending off the Inquisition. What are you doing back here?
Well, we saw you had disappeared into the alley for a long time, so we came to check on you.
How did you know I was here?
Charity was worried about you, and I offered a suggestion. So then
I installed a nanny tracker on your phone. Mom, I'm sorry. I thought it would help keep
Well,
you
you
safe.
should have done it sooner. This hussy has been coming here to convene with prostitutes. And your poor dear father is barely even cold.
Scandal.
And this woman has been hoarding her husband's wealth, ignoring my calls, with no implorements to decency and Christian generosity.
Instead, she's been coming here to this cheap and filthy place. with these kinds of people. Yes, you heard me. You and everyone else in that hole. You're nothing but a disgusting, filthy pervert.
Thank you. Yes, it's true. For the past month, I have been coming here, and I have been doing so for my own pleasure, and I have been paying for it. I had hoped this would have remained private, but it seems that's not going to be an option for me, from anyone. I know that some of you are going to be, upset, but I've got to start standing up. I was a good and loyal wife to Jim for decades, but I can't let him determine the rest of my life for me. You always used to say, why go on vacation when we live in a perfectly fine town? Oh, that necklace will be considered a vanity. The Lord didn't give us flesh so that we could play with it. After being married to a man for decades who had no discernible taste, well, I find myself curious to explore the menu. And that's all I'm going to say about my very personal life in this very public venue. And if you don't like that, then I'll simply kindly invite you to fuck off.
I've never heard such horrendous, slanderous filth in all my 4 days. You are no Christian. And Pastor Matthew, I must insist that you excommunicate this woman at once. She has desecrated the memory of a fine man. Will you
I'm sorry I never stood up for you against your father. I was too much of a coward. I've always regretted it, and I vow to do better in the future. And if I haven't terminally humiliated you, well, I hope I'm welcome at your house on Friday. And Marty, please save all of my good appointments. I have no intention of ending them at all. And for the rest of you, I suppose I'll see you at church on Sunday. And if you don't like that, you can simply fuck off.